It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
As we've talked about, it's okay to spend money on things that you use a lot, and it's okay to spend money on things that perhaps remove hassles or free up your time. This last category, I think, Brian, is the one that you're the most excited about, but it's the one that you get the most energy and passion when we talk about it. And that is spending your money on things that truly bring you happiness.
Well, this is because it lets us get back to the why. Money is a tool. We all know that. It's easy to say that, but I find that a lot of people have a lot of unhealthy relationships on what they think money will do for them for the long term. I was listening to a podcast, and it was this pretty famous comedian on there talking, and he was saying, and it was around the 42-minute mark, because I even wrote it down to share with you. So after the show, I'll have to show it to you. But he was like, man, I have this weird relationship. The last year was hard for me. I was more famous than I ever was, but I just got depressed because I realized this money thing that I'd been chasing my whole life was a lot emptier than I thought. And that's why I think there's a lot of people out there. If the only reason you're trying to build wealth is because you think when you have $3 million, your life and all your problems are going to be solved, you're going to find out that never addressed the why. That never addressed what actually brings you happiness, what brings you fulfillment. So if you can do the exercises of knowing exactly what does make you happy, you're going to find that the money actually kicks harder and better for you in a lot of positive ways. And for me, and I've shared this, I've always tried to bedazzle my basic life, even in the years that I was living in scarcity, to now when I have more in abundance. I like to travel. I think it is great to build memories. You guys saw, if you're on any of our social media platforms, my oldest daughter had graduated high school. With the pandemic, we didn't get to travel like we had planned to with her to build memories before she left the house. So we asked her as a graduation gift, what do you want to do? And she immediately was like, let's go to Europe. So we went to Paris. I mean, you guys were so positive on the comments when we posted those pictures. We had the trip of a lifetime. And I think, I can't imagine, because I've told you guys, memories actually blossom. So my trip from like the early 2000s where I went to Italy on no money practically, and I was dragging my suitcase down the cobblestone, getting ripped off by all the local vendors and everything. That stuff has blossomed in a positive way, even though some of that was very stressful. This trip was so plush and great that I'm curious to see how it blossoms in different ways, because it just worked out so well. And I think the whole family got some great memories. And truthfully, it's making it easier for my daughter to go off to college, because I feel like we got that period to really kind of love on each other before she kind of left the house.
Yeah, and so you love building experiences, or you love using your money to utilize doing these experiences. And these are big things, right? These are like, obviously a graduation trip to Paris is a big experience, or going to Italy was a big experience. But maybe for you love experiences, but maybe the thing that brings you happiness is a smaller thing. Maybe it's you do like the experiences, but maybe you have some creature comforts that really just bring you joy. The content team put this together, and I don't know that I realized it per se, but I like coffee. I drink it in the morning, I drink it in the afternoon, I drink in the evening. We have a Starbucks really close to the office, so it's very easy for me to get Starbucks coffee. I have 2 drinks. Write me if you want to know what they are. I'll tell you what they are when you come by. You can bring me one. And I just love coffee, right? And I recognize it may not be the most sound financial decision in the world to buy coffee. We have a really nice coffee maker here. We buy good beans, and I drink that coffee too. But every now and then, I just like this idea of a barista who has this trade and craft making me a really delicious cup of coffee. And that brings me happiness. And I don't think it's going to derail my financial life. I also, athleisure. It's another thing. It's sort of a little creature comfort of mine. I like to work out. And when I'm out and about socializing, I wear workout clothes. If you ever see me out in public, odds are I'm going to be wearing workout shorts and a workout shirt, just because I like to be super, super comfortable. But I don't necessarily buy the absolute least expensive stuff. I buy the stuff that I think is comfortable, that lasts a long time, and I think it looks pretty decent. And that's one of the reasons I buy it. I think it's okay for me to spend money on those things, even though I could spend less on something else. Those kinds of things bring me happiness.
I do. We hadn't even talked about this. I remember that back in 2008 when we worked out, because I'd hired you, but you were also like my personal trainer to get me through the stressful period of 2008. And I had never worked out like real worked out. And I was so proud of myself because I showed up with these gym clothes that I thought were so cool. But I bought them at Walmart, and they don't say Walmart on them. I can't even remember the brand name that was on them. But as soon as I showed up, you're like, you went to Walmart.
Here's Walmart. And that's fine. That's not an indictment on Walmart. But once I introduced him to some of the better, in my opinion, more versatile athleisure brands, it was okay. But that was something that was bringing me happiness way before success, way back then in 2008. You have to figure out what those things are for you and decide from a budgetary standpoint, is it okay for me to spend money on them? Or how much money is it okay for me to spend? Because you hear all the time, especially when there's a picture of me drinking all these Starbucks, you hear all these financial minds say, oh, well, you got to worry about the latte effect. You got to worry about the latte effect. You got to worry about the latte effect. We take offense to that because I don't think it is the latte effect that derails most people's financial life. I think realistically, it's more like the Lambo effect that gets you off kilter.
Yeah, I mean, we even created an illustration of this. Is that, look, if Bo bought a cup of coffee every day of the month, it is an opportunity cost of $150 a month. Well, I know personally, Bo is investing by a multiple of many, much greater than this $150 a month. So that's the whole part about if you can save and invest 25% of your gross income, it should be a freeing moment to let you feel more inspired to live your best life without the guilt and the fear that you're not doing what you need to for yourself. But you can see how the latte effect at $150 a month, you compare that to, and look, we went the extreme with this. We did throw the Lamborghini out there. If you had to finance a $200,000 vehicle, even
Following
with the 23.8,
but I'd argue it's a luxury car, so it's a little bit of a flaw.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit flawed in the fact that you'd have to pay cash on this. But you can see, even if we allowed you, we did this for illustration and educational purposes, it would still cost you $4,600 a month. Investing $4,600 a month is going to build financial independence in a very rapid fashion. Lay that next to the $150 a month, and you can see there's just a stark difference in that opportunity cost.
Brian, you said it best. We know money is a tool. It is something that we can use to allow us to focus on those things in this life that truly matter, both in the future and now. And while we think that one of the superpowers of financial mutants is deferred gratification, there's also a realization you have to have of when is it okay for me to spend money? What are the things it's okay for me to spend money on? Because frankly, none of us are promised tomorrow. And the last thing that you want to do is save up all this wealth and save up all these resources and do all this sacrifice and then get there and that unknown Tuesday evening thing comes along and you're like, holy cow, what did I miss out on?
Well, and it's also the perfect closing on this is to give you some homework, is to say, hey, I want you to do an exercise, because both Bo and I have been very confessional on this, is that I love travel. I love doing things like that with my family. He just shared it's a littler thing with like coffee expenses. What is the thing that actually brings you happiness? Because maybe the goal for you and the homework after watching this content is to actually sit down and ask yourself that question, because maybe you've never actually gone the depth of figuring out what are the little things that bring me happiness? What are the big things that bring me happiness? Am I on the journey to this money actually creating fulfillment, meaning that when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I'm making the world a little bit better and I have purpose? And if you can do that homework and that exercise, I think you'll have much more clarity on the why that you should spend or invest every dollar that comes into your custody. And that's all we can ask for. Truthfully, at the end of the day, creating a plan, but also making sure you are building into that plan a good, efficient use and understanding of what you tick with from a money standpoint is going to create a lot of happiness, a lot of fulfillment, and I think you might just be shocked. It's going to bring a lot of abundance and wealth in the long term too.